You're listening to 107.9 FM The Berg. This is Meg Boschin, your host for Fitness Friday. We've been discussing the 4 pillars of fitness over the last few shows and how to keep them all fit and balanced this time of year. Today I've invited the founder of DHD, Danger Hockey Development, cleverly named after you, D for Danny Anger. Is that just a play on words or a promise that players can expect to become dangerously good at hockey if they train with you? What do you think?
That's good, Meg. Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. This is my second radio show that I've ever been on.
Wow.
My first one, I think I was 18, just coming out of the OHL and very nervous. So hopefully today I can produce a better product for you.
Oh, no, you'll be great. We'll do our best. So welcome to Fitness Friday, Danny. I'm glad you could join us. For those of you who may not know Danny, he has over 15 years of coaching experience, including roles at junior and AAA levels. He's helped athletes progress to junior hockey, the OHL, and beyond, while also mentoring them off the ice. I also recently read somewhere that as a coach and trainer, you focus on helping players understand the why behind their game. Can you explain that a little more for us, Danny?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first started the business, I was continuously just doing drills to develop players' skills. And I kept getting the question, when is my son or daughter going to start translating it to games? And I realized very quickly that the players actually didn't know why they were learning the drills and the purpose of the skill that they were learning. So one of the biggest teaching points that we do at DHD is to make sure that the players understand why that move is important and where they would utilize that move in a game.
Okay, so now I have a little bit of experience in this new world of hockey because my son, Mateo, plays hockey. He's trained extensively with you. And would you say then that would be developing their hockey IQ? That's what you're focusing on?
I think that's one of the toughest things to develop for players is their awareness, their spatial awareness, their hockey awareness, or their IQ, as some people may say. You can develop it, but some players just have that natural knack, I guess, or intuition on the ice. You can teach it. A lot of it, I think, is taught by just watching hockey. Loving hockey, not watching Sportsnet at 7 a.m. before they go to school. I think they need to actually sit down and watch the game and watch their specific position on, how the average player, not Matthews or McDavid, right, but the average player, like Mateo's a centerman, watching a good 200-foot centerman play the game the right way. Watching a guy like Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett would be a perfect example of a centerman that players should watch and try and learn the ins and outs of the position. Okay, and is Sam Bennett a professional hockey player? He is. Okay. He is. Okay. He plays for the Florida Panthers. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sure Mateo knows that. Now, not so much myself. But I love that you focus on the why, because I myself am motivated also by why am I doing something? So it's wonderful. Even in my yoga method that I'll be opening the studio in the new year, it's like I'm putting the why into people's workout. Why am I doing it? Otherwise, where do you go from there? If you don't know why you're doing it, where do you go with it? So that's a beautiful way to start these young kids, which is typically what you start. How young do they start? We ask parents and families to bring players to us that can at least skate. We do have a power skating coach on our staff, 2 of them actually. But we try to make sure that the players, when they're coming to our full ice camps, that they're able to skate so that they can actually utilize and understand the skills that we're teaching them. And going back to the why, in hockey, similar to yoga, there's different aspects to hockey that players have to learn. Their skating, their stick handling, their passing, their shooting. And whenever we're teaching our stick handling moves and our shooting moves, we try to make sure that the players understand the skating behind it too. Okay. So we're not just throwing players a drill where they have to try and stick handle without learning all aspects, skating, body positioning. And then once they learn those, we actually apply it to in-game scenarios to where they would see it. All right, so that's just that's their hockey IQ, I guess, that they're building all of that, learning about every different aspect of hockey. Correct. And that's the game. Now, what about, I read that you also mentor them off the ice, and what does that look like? So we've been, in recent years, going back to watching the NHL players in games and watching their specific positions. We've been taking video of the players in breaking down their shifts or their games, and then comparing the skill that's lacked or the skill that needs to be taught to an NHL clip. So, for example, the other day I was teaching a player how to walk the blue line or skate across the blue line to get a shot on net. And we were comparing him to Morgan Riley of the Maple Leafs. Morgan Riley had a really nice goal 2 weekends ago. So I was using that clip to teach the player the right skill in their game.
Okay. So it's more about the game. They're film, they're watching
Exactly
the game. Now, when do you ever, there's two words that go together no matter what, is hockey and pressure. How are these kids dealing with pressure, especially when they get into the higher levels?
Well, that's the other step to training. You can sit there and go through all these drills and all these stick handling drills with no pressure. And then a lot of times when the player feels the pressure, they can't execute the expected drill or expected skill. So once the player is comfortable, then we start adding pressure. Either that's their peer or their coaches. Okay. Normally we start with coach pressure because we don't try and steal the puck right away. And then we'll add peer pressure. And that peer pressure will 100% get them ready for their games.
Wow, that's really interesting because I hadn't thought of it that way when I posed that question of that. You have to build the ability, literally, to be under pressure every game. You can have all the skill in the world. If you can't show up at a game, well, it's just like life. That's where I'm going with this. Like 100%. You are an expert in dealing with pressure. You've been a player, you're a coach, a trainer, and now you're a hockey dad. Yeah. So they're like, I mean, you have to be an expert in pressure. So they have to build an emotional game at some point too, where they can go out there and be a champion on that level.
100%. It's funny that you mentioned my daughters last night. We were on the rink with my dad, and going back to what I teach, some of the skills that I teach, the players haven't learned those skills. So my daughters, they haven't learned any of these skills, but I like to see what their brains are going to do under pressure. So obviously they don't know what a toe drag is. They don't know what a backhand toe drag is. And a lot of times they'll just innately do that skill without being taught under pressure. Most of the time it doesn't happen, but I like to give players pressure without knowing skills just to see how they react.
Sure.
And again, some players are just gamers. They want to succeed. They know exactly what they need to do to protect the puck or possess the puck. For other players, they need a little more time and a little more teaching and skill to their game.
Okay, so you had recently an interesting experience with the U16 AAA Sun County Panthers team. You've coached them for some years now, and you brought them right through their draft year this year. You won the Alliance 2 years in a row with them. Am I correct in saying 7 of those kids were drafted to the OHL this past year? Yeah.
I hate to correct you, Meg, but I just wanted on record that we won 3 years in a row.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, just kidding.
That's ChatGPT.
No, it's we won 3 years the year that it was right after COVID. So
3.
Yeah, 3 years. Chris Barch, if you're listening, I just want you to know that I beat you 3 years in a row. Yeah. Chris also coaches for the Niagara Ice Dogs, and Frank Avola of the Windsor Spitfires didn't interview me for the job, so I'm still kind of salty. No, I'm just joking.
Salty.
I'm joking. Yeah, so that team was an exceptionally special team. They were coached the right way from the start. Austin Wysick, his son Jaco plays in Guelph right now.
Yeah. He was the second overall
pick. Yep, correct. Okay. It's crazy, to be honest.
And for me to know that, that's even crazier.
But like Austin taught the group the right way from the start. Everything was about making hockey reads and using their hockey IQ to make plays rather than that skill. So we taught them to use their brains first and then the skill after, which is the perfect way to teach kids. He gave them the ability and I guess freedom to make decisions, hockey decisions on their own, and it paid off. I don't think that team would have been as good. Like myself and Zach got this team in the right spot because Austin did such a good job.
That's amazing. So again, it proves the point I'm making about the pressures of coaching and the importance of coaching. Like the pressure of coaching these kids, like you're a mentor, you have to wear so many hats, and I don't know how you guys do that.
It is a lot. There's what a lot of people don't realize about these young athletes is not only do they have sport pressures, but they have school pressures, there's social pressures at home, social pressures at school with their peers and their boyfriends or girlfriends, whatever it may be. And a lot of them use the rink as an outlet to get away from those things. And, that's every time I go to the rink with the kids, I'm trying to make it fun and educational. And, as a coach, we want them to get to the next level, and whatever we can do to help them get there is the main goal and objective.
Right. And I guess as a trainer, you want them coming back to you again and again, and you want them to have faith in you and to have trust in you. And so I would say you're essentially building heart in these athletes. So, they can tackle life and they can go on as adults, even if I think the hardest part is that they don't make it to the ultimate dream, which sometimes is, the NHL. But they can survive, and they have other skills, and they emotionally can handle that. That's like, I don't know. I mean, my own son thinks that he's going to make it big. I mean, I just got to make sure that he's grounded.
I think that's the best way to approach it, Meg, is they're going to learn bigger life lessons than making it to the NHL or making it pro. The biggest thing that I think parents forget is this is a team sport, and they're going to create relationships with, 15, potentially 30 kids a year if they play spring hockey, maybe 45 kids, maybe 60 kids if they're on different teams. And those relationships are going to be the ones when, they're trying to make a car deal when they're 35 years old working at a car dealership. They're going to be able to call a guy that they played in Pee Wee to sell a car or to close a big deal, or their wife's pregnant and they need a doctor to help them. Those are the relationships that they're going to rely on. And I think that sometimes people forget how important the social structure of hockey is. And I just wish people would pay more attention to keeping those relationships in check. And the other thing is learning how to be a hardworking individual and then humble. That's one of the biggest things that, my teachings is you have to work hard no matter what you do. If it's sweeping a dressing room at the end of practice, do it right and do it perfect.
Yeah, do it with heart.
It's such a simple task, but do it right.
Absolutely. Right? And you just closed it nicely, because that's where I was going with the whole interview, is that this time of year, especially, emotions run high. There's a lot of pressures on people emotionally, financially, physically, and your wisdom can take us through with that. Just do your best. Work hard. It's like, put your heart into it, and the rest will work out. As long as you work hard, it always works out. That's my experience, and I think you agree, and that's your style of training.
Yeah, 100%. And like, we try to go a step farther too. Like, you can go out there and work hard, but you also have to work smart too, right? Going back to your teachings, I used to do yoga when I played, but if you're going and working extremely hard but doing the wrong exercises, but you're still working hard, it's not paying off, right?
Yeah, you need to know what you're doing. It's the why. Why am I doing this?
Exactly.
You've been listening to Fitness Friday on 107.9 FM. I'm your host, Meg Boschin. We've been talking to Danny Anger, founder of Danger Hockey Development, about how the pressures of elite sports can prepare you for life. If you've missed this segment, you can listen again at 4:30 today and catch us in the new year every Friday, 10:30 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. January can be a tough month for people. We're going to take a look at the spiritual pillar of fitness and how developing your spiritual game can transform your life on all levels. Until then, I expect miracles.